sounds, crackling, crackling, crackling. So I hope that that won't be too distracting for this video. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this series so far. Are you liking it? Blah, 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 blah. Comment about the book. Let's start a little discussion. If there's anything you'd like me to change in the reading of this book as well, please, please, please let me know. If you'd like me to speed up the audio, comment it down below. But most importantly, let's start some discussion about this book and what we're reading. Don't be afraid. So, without further ado, let's jump into part 2 of chapter 2 of Down the Drain by Julia Fox. One winter day, I get home from school and see the light blinking on the answering machine. I press play and hear Trisha's voice, shaky and hysterical, screaming into the receiver. I can barely make out what she's saying through the tears. Julia, she's taking me to Oklahoma. I don't want to go. I hear her mom screaming incoherently in the background. Mom, shut the fuck up. I don't want to say goodbye. I'm completely caught off guard. I frantically pick up the receiver and try to call her back, but there's no answer. It's too late. They're already gone. Just like that, it's over. Trisha hasn't come to school that day, but I didn't think much of it. I hate myself for not saving her. The following days, I feel like a zombie. I can't eat or sleep. I go to school and come straight home to wait by the phone. I play her distressing message over and over again. I ask Jeeves how long it takes to drive to Oklahoma. I listen to Coldplay in bed with the hairdryer on to muffle my sobs. Why does everyone always leave me? I yell into the pillow. It's not fair. The call finally comes 2 weeks later. I'm thrilled when the phone rings and I see an Oklahoma area code. I lift up the receiver and blurt out, "What took you so long?" "We just got a phone finally," Trisha says. "Tell me everything. I've been so worried about you." "It's actually not so bad. It's hot here all the time and our trailer is pretty big." "Have you made any friends?" I ask her. "Yeah, I hung out with the neighbors, and don't tell anyone, but I smoked crystal meth." "Whoa, that sounds so cool," I say with a touch of jealousy in my voice. "It was, but I don't think I'm gonna do it again." I work up the courage to ask her the dreaded question, "Are you ever coming back?" "My mom lost that apartment. She says she needs some time to get on her feet, but who the fuck knows?" Trisha seems rather unbothered by my predicament. I decide then and there that I need to move on too. If she can make other friends, so can I. And this is where Rose comes in. Rose is in some of my classes, and she's so different from Trisha. She's different from everybody. I'm convinced she's an angel. She's soft-spoken, she's shy, she's pure, and she's rich. Penthouse on the 5th Ave. Rich. I love sneaking into her house after her mom has gone to bed. We sit cross-legged, facing each other on their floor, and pass each other love poems. I write her name on my sneakers. She writes mine on hers. Sometimes we massage each other with oils. Sometimes we dribble hot wax over each other's bodies. Sometimes we take baths together where I can't help but stare at her enormous double D breast covered in thick purple stretch marks. The boys in our school don't really like her like that, but I think she's the most beautiful girl in the world. She has the most succulent lips, and when I make her laugh, tears stream down her delightfully freckled cheeks until she pees her pants. Her skin is as fair and soft as snow, especially her arms. They're my favorite. She always smells of drugstore-bought vanilla body mist, which I find intoxicating. I even know exactly how many minutes it takes her to walk to her house from mine. 7. "You're my soulmate," I tell her. "No, you're my soulmate," she says. Our friendship is so intense that all her friends refer to us as lesbians. Rose is friends with the popular girls who all claim that Rose is their best friend. And that might be true, but she reassures me that I'm hers. The popular girls welcome me in their clique when they discover I always have a stale pack of cigarettes from Italy in my backpack. I don't even really smoke them, I just like feeling like a grown-up. I know Dominique from elementary school. She lives in Brooklyn. We would often have sleepovers at each other's houses, and she even told me I was her best friend once. However, she wasn't mine. We fought a lot because she was jealous of my friendship with Danny. The fights mostly consisted of her bullying me and getting everyone else to ostracize me. One day I fought back and she started crying, and she never messed with me again. Abilene was voted the prettiest girl in school. She's Dominican and lives in the Bronx. She loves to sing and dance, and all the guys like her, even Tommy, my crush. Tara is Jewish and lives on the Upper East Side. She gets her hair chemically straightened and never wears the same outfit twice. She lives with her mom, an accomplished attorney who had her very late in life. And they have a fluffy little white dog that barks a lot. We call ourselves the Stoned Monroes, and we almost immediately start bringing out the worst in each other. We bully the girls in the younger grades if they're prettier than us. We set mice loose in the school. We terrorize teachers to the point of tears. We graffiti Stoned Monroes all over the halls. We unscrewed the doors off their hinges. We get suspended for fighting. My grades are suffering, and my home life is a nightmare. My mom is now pregnant, and I overhear my parents discussing the baby's due date. My mom reassures my dad that he's the father. I'm just surprised that they still have sex, as they seem to despise each other. My mom wants to give birth in New York and take maternity leave, which means she'll be around all the time. I'm not used to having her so close, and it's safe to say that it's just not working out. She invades my space, she encroaches on my freedom, she steps on my independence, she trespasses in my room, and she throws out anything she doesn't like. We have explosive fights where I scream, "I hate you," to which she replies, "I hate you more." There's no attempt to hide our mutual animosity. I even sleep with my bags packed, ready to leave if things get too violent. The cops have already come a few times. One time, when she was 6 months pregnant, she whipped me with a computer wire in front of 2 officers who did nothing. I hear my dad in the background saying, "You can't do that in America, sweetheart," as if she doesn't know that. As if they both don't beat us all the time. As if he ever calls her sweetheart. I flee, seeking refuge. I sneak into Rose's welcoming home whenever possible. When that's not an option, I make do with whatever shelter I can find, from unlocked cars to 24-hour delis, rooftops, and park benches. Anywhere is better than being at home. When my mom goes into labor, I rush to the hospital to be by her side as she's breathing through contractions. A nurse offers the option of an epidural. But before my mom can answer, my dad chimes in with his own opinion. No, she wants to have a natural birth. The nurse shoots a look of pure disdain in my dad's direction. "I wasn't asking you, sir. When you're in labor, I'll ask you." Her telling him to politely fuck off is so gratifying. My mom tells him to shut the fuck up, too. Finally, my baby brother is born, and I hold him in my arms, overwhelmed with love. But the moment is shattered when my dad slaps me in the face for not wearing gloves. On my way home, instead of feeling overjoyed, I feel bitter. He ruined that moment for me. I get my revenge by slithering like a snake into his room at night and stealing cash out of his wallet. The more damage he does, the more money I At school the next day, a girl in my class tells me very loudly that her aunt was the nurse at the hospital who delivered my little brother, and she said my dad was a huge asshole. I'm embarrassed. The only class I excel in is creative writing, or at least I used to excel in it before I fell in with the wrong crowd. One afternoon, my teacher, Miss Williams, pulls me aside after class and expresses her concern. You used to be one of my more promising students, she says, but now I'm not so sure. I'm afraid. I know she's right, and I try not to argue with her. She's already affectionately refers to me as queen of excuses. I hate to see wasted talent, she warns me, her lips downturned, her eyes flooding me with sadness. Have you given any thought as to what you want to be when you grow up? Will you go to college? Because I'm warning you that on the path you're headed, no reputable high school or universities will accept you. I know. I nod. I know. I'm just trying to get through the day. I can't think that far ahead right now. She pauses for a moment. Write about it, she says before waving me off. I resent the fact that I care what Miss Williams thinks about me. Normally, I could care less what anyone thinks, yet the thought of letting her down fills me with anxiety. I wonder if this is how normal people feel about disappointing their parents. After school, I retreat to the solitude of my bathroom and let the ink flow onto the pages, revealing the pain and emotions I had buried deep inside. Each stroke of my pen feels like a release, like a weight being lifted off my shoulders. I write about the suffocating feeling of insignificance and the constant battle to find my place in the world. I write about how lonely I am and how everyone always leaves me, leading me to put on a facade of toughness and aggression. I write about the urge to compare myself to others and the resulting feelings of inadequacy. I fantasize about what life could have been like had I been born into a normal, loving family and all the ways in which I would be different. The next day, I nervously hand my paper to Miss Williams at the beginning of class. Later in the day, she approaches me in private and asks for my permission to read it for the class as an anonymous submission. No one will know you wrote it, she reassures me. I was moved by your writing, Julia. She insists that my work could serve as an inspiration for my classmates. All the while, I wonder whether she's going to ask me if I'm okay. I'm nervous to have something so personal be shared with what feels like the world, but I concede and give her my consent. The next day, Miss Williams reads my writing aloud to the class. My hands start to sweat as I hear her reciting my pain. My trauma feels dreadfully familiar even when it's in her voice. Some of my classmates snicker and purposely make noises, and every time they do, I feel stupid and insignificant. Corny, someone remarks, and even though they don't know who wrote it, I do. And that's enough for me to feel humiliated. Miss Williams doesn't ask me if I'm okay. From that moment on, I vow to keep everything inside and never share my vulnerability with anyone ever again. One day, Tara has a free crib and invites a few of us over. Just the girls, she says. But when we arrive, a bunch of boys from all the other classes show up with us. Tara tries to act cool about it, but I can sense she's anxious. Her mom can be quite strict. We listen to Fabulous and Eminem and smoke Newports on her balcony as we pass around cans of Sparks and Smirnoff Ice. One of the boys, James, rolls a joint and passes it around. Smoke some weed, chill out. He tells Tara, who has a secret crush on James, knowing that Dominique has a thing for him too. Tara hesitates. We begin chanting, "Smoke it, smoke it, smoke it." She takes a pull and we all cheer. Dominique goes to sit on James's lap. Tara's gaze is fixed on them. She's frozen. Rose and I notice she's acting funny and guide her into her mom's room, where she begins trembling and whimpering. "I hate myself. Can you please ask everyone to leave? I need everyone to get out of my house now." I run back out to the balcony and tell everyone to leave. Between the sighs and groans, Dominique Tara's such a whack bitch, loud enough for Tara to hear it. On their way out, they steal whatever they can. Dominique trailing behind them, laughing. Rose and I comfort Tara as she cries. I'm so ugly, nobody likes me. I try so hard to be perfect, but I'm not. I'm short and I'm fat and I'm ugly. Who cares what boys think? I tell her with a shrug. Boys are fucking dumb, in case you haven't noticed. Wrong thing to say. Tara's cries turn into full-blown wails. Tara, you are so beautiful, Rose says. Are you kidding me? Look at you. You're hot. So many guys want to hook up with you. No, they don't. They want to hook up with you guys because you both have big boobs and blue eyes. Tara springs up and locks herself in her mom's bathroom. Rose and I look at each other, shaking our heads. I need a cig, she says. We go on the balcony and admire the view from the 21st floor. We are practically in the clouds, Rose says. I can see my building from here, I excitedly say. Oh wait, maybe that's not my... Before I can finish my sentence, Tara rushes toward us with a maniacal grin and swings the door shut, locking us on the balcony. Rose says with a confused look on her face. Did she just lock us on the balcony and run away? I start tugging on the door and fidgeting with the handle. It's definitely locked. I tell her. When Tara's face appears at the adjacent window, I start yelling, "What the fuck, Tara? I'm gonna kick the glass in if you don't open this door." She struggles to get the window all the way up, but once she does, she swings her legs over, straddling the frame, her perfectly pedicured foot dangling over 20 stories high. Rose starts crying and frantically pleading with her. What the fuck are you doing, Tara? Please. Tara, please. Get back inside. Tara giggles. Don't cry, Rose. I love you. It's better this way. Nobody wants me. Nobody loves me. She swings her body over and scales the side of the building until she's on the ledge of the balcony facing us. It would just be better if I died, Rose is sobbing now, and I have to force myself to cry. It's like I'm here, but I'm not. I see her and I hear her, but I'm not here. The sun starts going down, and after what feels like forever, we finally convince her to retreat. Through the glass, she makes us promise we won't be mad at her for what she did to us. We promise we won't tell a soul, and we won't hold it against you. We tell her in unison. Once she's convinced, she releases us. Her entire demeanor changed, and she's back to normal. Are you guys hungry? Do you want some pizza rolls? She asks with a warm, inviting smile, as if she didn't just almost force us to watch her kill herself. I have to go home, Rose says with a frown. My mom is gonna be pissed if I come home late again. Me too, I say, avoiding eye contact. I feel like you guys are mad at me, Tara whines. Oh my god, never, I say. We are totally suicidal too. Don't even worry. I reassure her with a hug, and we get the hell out of there. Tara doesn't come to school the next few days. We call her house over and over and get the machine. What if she actually did it? I ask Rose. Should we tell her mom? Do we snitch? No, you're right, we can't. Finally, Tara shows up a week later in a brand new Abercrombie fit and a fresh tan. Where the hell have you been? We were so scared, Rose tells her. Aw, you missed me. That's cute. I was with my dad for a few days and he took me shopping. She squeals with excitement as I roll my eyes. Abeline isn't allowed to hang out after school. She always has to go straight home. Although I pretend to be sad about it, I'm thrilled. I count the minutes every day until the bell rings and school is out so I can get Tommy alone without Abeline all over him. They don't even have anything in common. They never have deep conversations. Before they started dating, he and I spent hours chatting online. Eventually, he began to confide in me about his life. He told me how hard his mom works as a single mom and how he never sees her. His dad doesn't pay child support. His brother is hooked on drugs. I feel special for curing his secrets. We still message, though not as much now that he's with Abeline. He even calls me on my house phone, where he always ends our conversations with, I just wish your brain could be in Abeline's body. I'm not sure if this is a compliment or a complaint, but I'll take it. It's 10 p.m. on a cool Saturday night. I'm chatting with Tommy on AIM. I turn to look at my friend Alice, peering over her shoulder at the computer screen. She reads aloud the words on the screen. My mom is out of town. You guys should come over. Her eyes widen, and a sinister smile spreads across her face. Alice and I just got close recently, but I've known her forever. She stole my ring in elementary school, and I hated her for it. She recently did a complete rebrand and lost a bunch of weight using diet pills. That gives her the jitters. She's also started tanning and wearing makeup and cute clothes, so we let her in the crew. I suspect this sudden transformation is due to her own secret crush on Tommy. I tease her about it. Ew, he's like a brother to me. Gross. She brushes me off, but I don't buy it. When Rose is grounded, I spend my time with Alice because she's just as devious as I am. Late at night, we pass the 24/7 McDonald's, blowing spitballs at people until they freak out. After school, we stroll into buildings at random, holding clipboards and knock on people's door pretending to be fundraising for our school, cash only. Rose would never do this with me, just like how Rose would never go to Tommy's house and betray Abeline, but Alice would. Let's go, bitch, she yells. I jump in the tub and start shaving my legs. She straightens her thick, brown, curly hair. We spray our entire bodies in body mist and sprint out of her building. We hop the turnstile and jump on the train, taking it all the way to Inwood. It's past midnight when we finally get there. We wander around looking for his building. We start yelling, Tommy, aimlessly when a man comes to the window with a shotgun yelling, shut the fuck up or I'll bust your asses wide open. We look up and see him waving the long metal nose at us. We shriek and run for our lives. After what feels like forever, we find his building. How do I look? I asked her. Like shit, how do I look? Like shit, I say laughing. Once inside, Tommy leads us through the dark apartment all the way to his room where his brother is asleep in another bed. What took you guys so long? Tommy says. I was about to pass out. You should be flattered because we almost died getting here, Alice says. He laughs and I start wondering if I should have come by myself. I feel myself crawling inward, feeling self-conscious. What am I even doing here? This feels wrong. We drink a few beers, and when it's time to go to sleep, he hands us a pair of boxers, and we all squeeze in his tiny twin bed with him in the middle. I lie there for what feels like an eternity, hands sweating, heart pounding, thoughts racing through my head. He suddenly turns on his side to face me. I wait a few seconds and follow his lead. My body is parallel to his now. I scoot my butt into his lap. A few seconds elapse. I feel something hard crawling up my backside. Oh my god, I think to myself, he has a boner. My hormones are on fire as I feel my vagina tingling, and I want to slide down on it so bad. But I'm a virgin, and Alice is sleeping in the bed with us, and his brother is in the same room. I can't help myself. I have to explore it. I quietly slide under the blankets until I'm face to face with it. Wow, it's beautiful. I put my hands around it and grip it tightly with my sweaty palms. I move my hands up and down, his body twitching at my every move. I stick my tongue out and taste the tip, as if I'm sampling an ice cream cone. It doesn't taste bad. I put my mouth over it, and before I can even start sucking, he ejaculates all over my hair. I shoot up from under the covers and run to the bathroom. I begin scrubbing the gelatinous goop out of my hair, half thrilled, half mortified. When I get out of the shower, the sun is coming up. I tiptoe back to his bed to find him already asleep and spooning Alice. When we wake up in the afternoon, I pretend as though nothing happened and we never speak of it again. Miraculously, we all graduate middle school, mostly because the administration doesn't want us there another year. The morning of the ceremony, we all get ready at Rose's house. We try on her mom's dresses, which are all too big. I decide to wear a dress I stole from Betsy Johnson on Madison Avenue. I burn the tip of my eyeliner with a lighter and smear the thick black paste in my waterline. I slather bright red lip gloss all over my lips and straighten my jet black hair with an iron. We take a photo on my disposable camera. After the graduation, people cheer as the principal calls my classmates' name one by one. I'm dreading the moment he calls me. I'm afraid no one will clap for me, but to my surprise, when he calls my name over the microphone, the crowd erupts into madness. I receive a standing ovation from all my classmates. I'm overwhelmed with love and sadness all at the same time. I already learned from my elementary school graduation that I'll probably never see most of these kids again. After the ceremony, I can tell my mom is annoyed. She makes a comment about how trashy I look and leaves immediately. I can't help but feel like she's shocked that people actually like me. I shrug it off. I won't let her attitude ruin my last day with Rose before I go to Italy for the summer. That night, we get wasted in the park with the neighborhood kids and spend the rest of the night wandering the streets together, talking about the future. I'm sad we're not going to the same school, Rose whines. Unsurprisingly, neither of us got accepted into any of the good schools that don't require a metal detector. At least we'll both be downtown and our schools aren't far from each other, I say with a hopeful smirk. She wipes the tears out of her eyes as I wrap my arms around her. And plus, my house will always be 7 minutes from yours. I walk her home and we spend a few minutes lingering in her doorway. One more cig, she asks. We pass our last Newport 100 back and forth before I kiss her on the forehead and walk home crying. Alrighty, my love, so that was the end of part 2 and the end of chapter 2. So in the next video, we will be moving on to chapter 3. Let me know what you think about the book so far in the comments. I'm surprised. It's very, risque, and it's kind of sad to see, someone so young going through these things, but let me know what you think, and I can't wait to discuss it with you, and I can't wait to read